Magnificent performance and magnificent play there.
Full time in this match, thrilling stuff.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to a sunny Aldershot for the start of this year's Rugby League Challenge Cup. Now some news for you from York this morning, and that is that the Royal Air Force game up against Hayworth has been postponed due to a frozen pitch. There were fears, of course, that that might happen, but it has been a little bit warmer down here in the south. So good news is that the Royal Navy, the current Inter-Services champions, are in action up against the Hammersmith Hills Hoist in Portsmouth today, and that game is going on as we speak. But back to the live action here today. It is the British Army up against West Warriors, the team that put them out of the Challenge Cup at the second round stage last year. So will home advantage be an advantage as they look for revenge? Well, we'll see. But first of all, let's look and see what happened last year.
In for the Army here, and that's a lovely work around the outside, and he's going to score. And here come the Army again, and this is going to be a brilliant run. Difficult to see he's going to be stopped. They are going to go through, and they have got the try.
So two very strong and determined teams set to do battle here at Aldershot at the Army Rugby Stadiums, where conditions look pretty much perfect for Challenge Cup Rugby League. Now, I spoke to both head coaches earlier ahead of this fixture.
Kimbo's good enough. Yeah, look, I'm head coach of the West Warriors. Sort of founded the club in 2014, so just been sort of in and out as a player, and then now just coaching.
How much are you looking forward to this game? Challenge Cup always comes very quickly off the back of the festive period, but and it's not really a rugby league season, but how much do you look forward to it in the new year?
Yes, look, something we sort of look forward to at the end of our season. Since we've been playing and learning more about the Challenge Cup and the history and stuff, it's something that the boys really want to be part of. So we haven't prepared very well for this game. We've only had one sort of proper training session together, so it'd be interesting to see how we go today.
It's really nice mix having the military, British military involved. Obviously the three teams, you're up against the Army, who you have faced before, but really nice to have that sort of military mix in, who, believe me, probably will have had a nice festive period themselves as well. Yeah,
it's good. Like, I think it's good for all the amateur clubs, the community clubs that do get a chance to play. So we just sort of don't get to play against the Army or the RAF or Navy unless it's a Challenge Cup fixture. So this is like, it's good for rugby league, good for rugby league in the south, and you know, as I say, it's something we're really excited about.
I know that the British Army are out for revenge because you put them out of the Challenge Cup last year in the second round. 36-18 was the score, but they were quite well in touch with you guys right up until the end. So you know it's going to be a tough match, but they're also, like I said, out for revenge.
Yeah, definitely. Like that game, I think it was January last year. Look, the Army, we've watched a few of their games. Big physical side, very quick out wide. When we played them last game, you know, as you say, it was a close game right up until the last 10 minutes, and we sort of managed to get a couple of sneaky tries here and get the win. Yeah, look, we're prepared as best we can, but yeah, it's going to be another tough battle. Obviously, Army at home today, so home ground advantage. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
And just finally, you know, it is a bit like the FA Cup in football, isn't it? The Challenge Cup. There is that sort of carrot of some bigger clubs to come. How do you reckon West Warriors will fare this season? And do you look at yourself as giant killers further on in the tournament?
I wouldn't say giant killers. Our last Challenge Cup game was Leeds Rhinos, and they pumped us 92-0. But look, Challenge Cup, you know, it's one of those sort of cups where anything can happen. So we'll see what happens after 80 minutes here. Obviously, a big prize at the end of this one. The winner gets to play London Broncos, which is, you know, that's awesome for London Rugby League again. So we'll just see how we go. Yeah, we just got to do what we can do. You see who wins the battle up front. I think it's going to be sort of a battle of the forwards today, and yeah, may the best team win.
I was just going to say thank you, Kimber, and may the best team win.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Corporal Lee Paul Rienzel, and I'm the head coach.
And how much are you looking forward to the Challenge Cup this year, and also a side that put you out last year, so you're looking for revenge?
Yeah, it's not so much revenge, you know, we're on a journey at the moment, and after our inter-services campaign, I think we've progressed as a team, so it's just about us making sure we're looking after ourselves and thinking about ourselves and getting a victory, really.
Your opposition coach reckons it's going to be a game up front. Can you give anything away? What are the strengths of the current Army Rugby League squad?
Yeah, our pack's strengthened massively. We've had a massive turnaround in players. Like I keep mentioning, the inter-services, we had 16 caps, which is sort of unheard of. You're only really doing 2 or 3, so 16 caps, a massive turnaround in our pool of players.
How much will you enjoy playing at home? I know the game against West last year was away. You've now got home advantage. Does that make a difference? You have looked at the ground. It was frozen. It's now a bit boggy, you're saying?
Yeah, it's from last year. You know, we warmed up and everything, and that was terrible for fans coming out. So we made sure we got a pitch inspection yesterday. Came down early this morning, making sure that we're good to go.
And does it look good to go? Boys will be happy on this?
Absolutely perfect.
And we've talked a little bit about how you play and the turnaround you've had in players, but how much does the Challenge Cup, it comes around in January, it comes around really quickly, so out of season a little bit, yeah. But how much do you enjoy it and relish it every year?
Well, it's just a competition in itself, you know, Challenge Cup, it's massive history, and, you know, we get an opportunity to be able to play against a professional outfit if we come victorious today, so that's the aim, that's what's motivating the guys.
And does it motivate you as well that the Royal Navy and RAF, you know, are on the same level footing as you guys? You know, it's really good to have 3 services represented in this competition.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, I've been messaging the RAF and Navy coaches today, and you know, wishing them luck. And that's what we want. We all want to win, and we all want to see us all progress into the next round.
Well, listen, Lee, I hope to speak to a victorious coach at the end of the match. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Now, the winner here today will go on to face London Broncos in the second round of the Challenge Cup. But for now, let's enjoy this first round fixture in glorious winter sunshine. Your commentary team today is led by Simon Hunter.
Thank you, Kath. From the chill of the crisp January air, a very warm welcome to our coverage of this Challenge Cup clash. Progress in this prestigious competition, a wonderful incentive for these 2 teams at the beginning of 2026. Well, there's a sense of déjà vu for these sides, having met in the second round in 2025. The Army oversaw the RAF in a rescheduled fixture before losing 36 points to 18 to today's opponents. So there will be a sense of gunning for revenge in Hampshire today. We're delighted to have avoided the ice that prompted doubts about the game earlier in the week. And the sun shining is just a wonderful sight to see, just seconds away from proceedings here at the Army Rugby Stadium. And delighted to be joined on commentary today by a man who's no stranger to that jersey, the Army Rugby League jersey. Vastly experienced, of course, for UCAF as well, and now in coaching setups to Mikey Harrison, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Carl. Yeah, very well. Very excited for today's game. Luckily, I had a privilege to play against West in the Southern Conference League. You know, perennial title contenders. They're going to bring a really good challenge today, so I'm excited to see what the Army can produce.
Well, the coaches beforehand, speaking of that physicality they expect and the importance of the forwards as well, that sort of style of game you're thinking we're going to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in rugby terms, it's kind of who's going to win the floor, and what I mean by that is for the Army, I think it's important when we're in defence. You know, we get West on the back, we try and get time out of the tackle to slow them down. They've got very speedy of thought, so they'll move the ball around well. They'll spot our mistakes, and if we're a little bit slow retreating, they'll exploit that. And I think you flip it around, it's the same for the Army in attack. We want to hit the ground quickly, get up, play the ball, and get our halves on the front foot, and get the big runners, Joey Walker, etc., running at fringes.
Now, the West coach, speaking of being wary of that Army flair out wide, the pace of the backs, the speed that they have. Of course, it's folly in any type of sport to go from year on year and expect similar results, or say that they're not thinking too much about what happened last year, especially when it comes to military sport as well. They'll realise there's been quite a bit of turnover in that Army squad, hasn't there? Yeah,
massively. Lee Paul Rental's come in, fantastic coach. He's bringing all that experience he had with Barlow into the Army setup, and it's a nice vitalisation that's going on with the guys. With that, he's still kind of searching to nail down what his 17 is. What he's doing is giving people a fair shot across all of the corps, and the Army to put their hand up through the Lawson Cup have been invited into the Army camp. So there are a core. Mikey McDonald's in there. He's leading around, whether he's in the 9 or in the halves. He's absolutely the heartbeat of that team, and they are starting to find their identity and their playing style. So again, they'll be looking for another step forward today. The Challenge Cup is always exciting as an Army player, a little bit different to inter services where the heart and the adrenaline kind of takes over. It can be a little bit one out and a bit boring process, but as you said, a beautiful day here. Hopefully we'll get the rugby ball moving around and some good flair on show.
Well, just as we await the players coming out from the tunnel into this January air, the teams you've seen, of course, very familiar with both sides, as you mentioned, Mikey. Here are the players, for those who aren't familiar with the two teams, here are the players to look out for today. You mentioned, of course, Mikey McDonald, dual code star. Who else?
I think I kind of alluded to him earlier. Number 12 for the Army, Joey Walker. He's a dual code international, plays for Malta Unions 15s and 7s, but also many caps wearing the league shirt. He's a fantastic engine, big carrier, and a very he'll absolutely set the stalwart for the Army pack. Flip it across to West, and you've got, I think, number 6, Beasley. He is the heartbeat for the team. You can see him in the warm-ups, directing traffic, moving the guys around. So if his forward pack give him a good platform, he's absolutely going to run a show. The Army need to nullify him.
Well, we'll look at those lineups right now, starting with the home team, British Army, and Elliot Power in that influential fullback role. James Amitri, of course, too. The power of Peter Tamani and Kaji Shugavanua in the centre. Talismanic dual code star Mikey McDonald, as mentioned, skippering at hooker, and Joey Walker, dual international, in the forwards. West's Warriors line out with Bailey Simpson at fullback, Gribble and McCulloch in midfield, and skippered by Neil Thorman in the number 9 jersey. Mikey McDonald just setting up to kick off, and pitch looking good. Players ready. One or two doing final bits of tapping in the chest, press-ups as well, whatever it takes to get themselves ready. As the referee blows his whistle, and we get underway here at the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot. A fairly deep kick-off going into West's hands. Just assessing that red wall so far, the visitors.
It's the same with most rugby, good start. You want to get off the line quick. They're getting really good numbers there, the Army at the minute, finding the floor. Really good shot there, dominant. That's what you need. So you want your fullback starting as hard at the pitch as possible to give the Army. They'll probably want to complete the first 5 sets and be dominant in the first 5 sets in D.
Yeah, it's up in a flash. The Army defence, very physical so far. As the boot comes in to put that ball downfield. Just letting that bounce a little bit. Power. Nice bit of sidestepping as well. West looking to keep him pinned as far down the pitch as possible. Dimitri takes it forward for the Army. McDonald hitting the line at pace. Shugavanua to cheers in the stands as well. It's great to hear. Some of the West's defence just being bounced off the collision point. Hitting the line hard are the British Army.
Very happy with that. It's a hard set. You know, you're always organising your first set of defence. They've made the halfway line. Unluckily, a little mistake there from Mikey, but I'm sure he'll put his hand up and make up for that. Early
commentator's curse, potentially. But yeah, just a little knock.
Yeah, indeed, I'll owe him a point for that one.
But as you say, promising start in these opening minutes. Physical game we expected, and physical it's been so far in the opening salvo. And it comes, Thorman. Inching forward, West's Warriors cutting back infield. Making good gains here.
Yeah, they've got some good shape here on the left. They look nice and composed. Oh, they'll be upset with that mistake. They're filling the pitch. They look really dangerous there. So really good work from the Army around the ruck.
Just sizing each other up so far, both sides. Just a couple of mistakes creeping in, but they've had a good look at both defences. And it's great to hear a bit of volume as well from the stands. Decent crowd building in Aldershot. Unmistakable sound of some air horns there as well, Mikey Harrison.
Yeah, we've got a few West flags. They've not had to travel too far from South London, so it's good to see they've not had too far to travel, and you know, we can get a crowd in. So it's good for the guys to play in front of.
Put in goes. McDonald gets that ball out. Out it comes and bundled backwards. That's very solid from Wests.
Not locking up the ball there, he managed to break out. He's made a good 10 metres there. What was good to see was Mikey jumping from the ruck there, just engaging the markers. He managed to get his guy on the outside, which was good. That's why we broke out there.
McDonald assessing his options outside him and putting the boot in. That left kick in behind, chipping over the top, and bundles out of play.
Yeah, good mature decision from Mikey to get it off the field, have a little chat, settle the defence, and we'll go again with them working out of their yardage.
Do, of course, let us know today where you may be watching from, whether in Aldershot or further afield. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. It's brilliant to have your company with us today. Presumably for many of you from the comfort of an armchair in front of the fire. West's in possession. Army defenders doing what they can to try and rip that ball.
So with West, normally they've got a very heavy Southern Hemisphere presence, normally a lot of Kiwis, a few Australians. They are incredibly rugby savvy. What they'll do in the first 20 minutes is they'll watch your habits, watch your mistakes, and then they'll look to exploit them. You know, they don't look like the most physically impending team, but, you know, they'll play for 80 minutes and they will be incredibly team that they'll complete at a high rate, and they'll get a lot of time when they're defending.
That ball put into the backfield and taken in by Power. The ref blows his whistle.
Yeah, it's good play. Powers, he's under a bit of pressure there. He's done well. He looks like you've seen him in the Lawson Cup. He's got a bit of pace. He's not scared to take it into contact as well. You know, but he's a good evasive runner, so you know he'll definitely be a threat. And the Army will definitely want him to put us on the front foot when he's working out of there.
What's that left boot of Mikey McDonald again, which has been influential in both rugby codes through the season and internationally for Germany as well. McDonald.
Yeah, what a bloke. Seen him on with both codes. I've had the privilege of playing Union and League with him, and just want to shout out congrats to his brother Cam, who recently got married. Lovely set of brothers, and they bring a lot to Army rugby on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely great servants of the red shirt sides. McDonald it is again, just getting that ball in behind. Seeing what space they have out wide. It looked fairly high, that challenge. Tamani taking that one. Now Hooper. through the hands. Power. West having to track back in defence. Todd Johnson this time. He's having to fix his shirt there as well. And putting a little grubber kick in and seeing what attackers are in behind, but West have it back.
Yeah, not a bad decision. I think they'd want the ball a little bit wider just to put a bit more strain on West with the kick, but it's a completed set. You know, they're making them work out of their half, so in whole they'll be happy with that.
Throw him into Ross. He does well to make some gains there of his own. Dummying that to go the other way this time.
That's a very good set from West. You know, they started that on their own 20, field and a kick, and they've managed to pin the Army back onto their 10 metre. West did very well there when they were attacking. They've just finding the floor, so I mentioned that earlier. That's why they were quick and they were making good meters off that set. So, you know, I think it's important for the Army now. They probably need to have that second wind, but just ensure that they're putting them on the back and just slowing them down at the ruck, or it's going to be a long afternoon.
Just a bit of medical attention coming on and some water as well. Hopefully not frozen at this stage. Yeah, nice set from West, trying to pin the Army back. A fair bit of play has been happening down in their own half, so they're happy with that. And talk us through that Army pack then. There's forwards, plenty of power there as well, Mikey.
Yeah, some big boys. Adam Hoopery, infantry guy, he kind of broke in last year. Big, powerful runner. You see, he's found the floor every time he's got the ball. Big lad in defence as well. But I think West will test his engine today, so it'll be good for him to stand up. Mikey, can do it all. Good in defence, good in attack. Will go as well as he leads us. Todd Johnson, kind of a newer guy, engineer, but again, he got pulled up because he played very well in the Lawson Cup. And that's how the Army should work. So it'll be good to see him on the stage and see what he can produce.
Ball just going over Kahihifo on the outside there from Wests. You can see what they were trying to do, of course. Tiny bit of space they thought they could find on that outer channel.
Yeah, they'll be frustrated. They've put into touch a couple of times. They've got down here and they've not executed, so that'll probably be something for them. They'll want to work on that execution down here. But yeah, to go back into what I was saying, so the Army second rows, Joey I know incredibly well. Privileged enough to watch him in Australia over the summer when the Signals toured. He's absolutely one of our best players on both codes. He really is a powerhouse. And Liam Ashworth will be a good compliment to him. And locking it up, Dylan Jackson, good savvy player, good footwork, knows the game very well. He'll complement both the halves really well.
Metre by metre, the Army come forward. And that pass just wayward there from Dylan Jackson. And high fives from West's players all round.
I'm just going to stop mentioning Army names because that's the second time I've mentioned one. Commentator's curse again, buddy.
Well, it was beautiful insight. Yeah, perhaps the curse coming through once more.
Yeah, some of that is, it is the excitement of playing in the Challenge Cup. It's such a prestigious competition, and you know that it's a televised game, so you want to put your hand up because you really want to put your hand up now for the inter-services. You are, as a player, thinking that early, I have a real opportunity here to show what I'm about. I was lucky enough to play in the fourth round against Rochdale, and we had a golden period of 4 or 5 years, and it actually came off the back of a couple of really good runs we had within the Challenge Cup, so it can absolutely set you off to have a really good season.
Paul McCulloch just making a bit of a half break there through that Army defence as the West bundle forward. Thorman again, this time to Lewis Robinson.
Yeah, it looks like West are becoming left here. They've got some really good shape. Number 7, the half-back's looking very energised.
Out it comes. And now trying to file it in behind. And a little bit of space opening up. A man overlap just in the corner are West's. The first score of the game, much to the delight of the travelling fans.
Yeah, I think that's the third time they've been down here. They've put one into touch. They've put one on the floor. Sorry, there's a mistake at the ruck. So they'll be happy to put one down. Early warning sign for the Army, though. When West do connect, they are a very dangerous team.
going through those sets. They're just building that pressure, as you were alluding to, Mikey. It just looked like, even with that ball having gone over his head moments ago on the left-hand side, you could see what they were trying to do. You can sense that it's a very popular option for them.
Yeah, I think, there'll be conversations in and out with the Army, and it'll just be, look, we've played for 10 minutes now, we've seen what they're about, relax, that's gone. Let's just worry about the next set, and we'll just take it one set at a time. Long time to go left in this game, and it's been pretty equal so far, so let's hope for a good reaction from the Army.
Probably a bit of nervous energy as well. You mentioned, of course, the fact this is televised, these players playing in front of an even bigger audience and in such a prestigious competition too. I mean, how did you yourself manage to stave off that those feelings when you get out there, perhaps some of those butterflies?
Yeah, the Challenge Cup, most people have been off work for 2 or 3 weeks, and obviously being an Army side, the guys are spread all over. Some have probably come from Germany, Cyprus, all over. So this is the first time, if you're a genuine out-and-out league player, you've touched a rugby ball since probably September in the inter-services. So there's that element of rust that comes into it. I think, pushing on to your point about the emotions and the nervousness, it is one of those in rugby, the first time you hit someone or the first time that you get hit, luckily those nerves 9 times out of 10 will dissipate. But this is a youngish group, and they'll be relying on Mikey, Joey, Jimmy Adams at halfback, their experience to just, boys, we're good, stay relaxed, we'll work our way back into this, so let's just worry about the next job.
Well, that's what they'll be hoping for as Mikey McDonald gets ready for the restart. Reece Walker of West's just missing that conversion. It's a 4-0 score in favour of West's Warriors, the visitors, as we get ready for the restart. Just under a quarter of an hour played here at the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot. Taken in cleanly. We've already seen some thunderous challenges.
It's a good dominant hit, that's what we want. Let's have him on his back, hopefully he's not injured, but get him on his back, slow to play the ball down. It means the rest of the guys can get back set and have a look at the West attacking shape.
There's the West second row, Vranos there. Just a few afters as well. Players getting to know each other, perhaps discussing New Year's resolutions. They're piling in. I think just a little bit of tension boiling over, and the ref making sure they're all singing off the same hymn sheet.
It's generally, historically for the Army, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes we don't particularly play that well. You have an incident like that, a bit of pushing and shoving, the adrenaline kicks up, and then, people then start to turn up after that. Everyone's a bit excited for the next carry, the next bit of defence, so let's hope we can have a big reaction here from the Army.
Well, it's a sign of how much it means to both sides, of course, as Kennerson looks to put that into touch, which he does. Just over 40 metres out. Well, you can sense some of that nervous energy in the crowd as well in this famed stand as Vranos takes that up to the line. Green hole this time. Army defence being tested.
You can see straight away, Carl, if you look at this left-hand side of the West, you look at the shape, they're not just in a flat line, they're in definite shape. We've got different waves coming through, like you've got the fullback out the back here. I think the Army just need to, on this right-hand side, just look up and out a little bit. We're getting a little bit narrow, where, we can see that shape. It's a definite threat.
Well, they're looking to try and exploit that option once more. Ball being spilled and has been judged to go forward.
And that's what you want. They've looked up, they've got in his face, and that's what you want. If someone's in your face, that's pressure straight away. That's why that ball's gone down. Same as 2 or 3 others in this game. So that looks like a good reaction. The Army seem to have learned that lesson from the last visit when West scored.
Pressure on the defence again for the Army just now, and they're wanting to exit this particular part of the pitch as quickly as possible, as Wests look as if they're trying just to build some momentum with those shapes and good sets so far. 4-0 still, they lead. Out it comes from McDonald. Ball going through. Sugavanua, real physical presence as always. Just nutmegged basically Mikey McDonald and spilling that forward, so he'll be frustrated at that. few more frissons as well between the players.
Yeah, there's the sense of frustration by the Army. You know, that's twice they've been down here. They're the ones that have made the mistake, and I think that's why that pushing and shoving's coming in. As I said, West, the Southern Hemisphere, no one talks better wind up than the Southern Hemisphere we've just seen in the Ashes cricket. So they'll absolutely be chirping in there, and that's probably why the Army players are reacting like they are. Ultimately, it's one of those you've got to worry about what your job is now. You're 20 metres out defending your own line. Let's make a mistake from the West, and then you can laugh, give them the chat then. But you know, we've really got to dial in and focus here, because you know we're giving them too much territory down in the Army's red zone here.
Yes, with some of the newer technology, we heard a bit closer up some of the sledges from the Aussie players during the Ashes, but they backed it up. They won the series 4-1, and anyone here today talking a big game will realise that there's no hiding place out there. They realise that the reward will be to play the London Broncos in the next round. A few representatives here as well from Broncos are watching as Wests go through the hands again. Gribble this time. Army defence goes back. Thorman, the skipper, to Robinson. Ever closer to that try line. Liam O'Callaghan pushed back by the Army. Thorman trying to find a bit of space, and well taken off his bootlaces, that was by Matt Beasley.
That's good defence so far. The Army seem hungry. They're getting good numbers into the tackle. Hopefully they can survive the rest of this set.
Well, they were up quickly there, led by Adam Hooper, the Army defence. Oh, in this near side, this left side, little grubber going through. Well picked up by Tamani.
Yeah,
trying to use his feet.
That is outstanding pick-up. So Army, time for the big boys now to earn their money, put their hands up. Let's work us out here.
Opportunity for an exit here now for the British Army. It's very physical there. Joey Walker taking the ball into contact.
Yeah, Army a bit static there off Houghton. He had no other choice, but he looked up, made the decision, planted off the left foot and just stepped, which bought time for Jimmy here with big clearance down the field.
Ball goes into the blue sky, taken in by Reece Walker.
That's a weapon we've not talked about. It is a very bright day, the sun's high. I think the Army back three, if West put it up high, going to have some trouble with that. So that's definitely something the Army can exploit come to the second half though.
Absolutely, both sides talking about the importance of going with the sun when they can. A bit of percussion from the stands as well. Good voice in support for both teams. Ball comes back, Thorman again. Really hitting the line at pace, Lewis Robinson.
Yeah, he's getting through a lot of work, isn't he? And I think that's the first time I've actually managed to get him on his back. So there's a nice little battle going on there between Hooper and Robinson.
Up and under into that sky again. And the player's letting it bounce, which is a bit of a mistake really from West's Warriors, allowing it to go back into Army possession, and also a bit of a knock-on, I think, too.
Yeah, I think we can see the first change there. Army number 19 seems to come on the field. I was just thinking to myself then, it's normally about that period where a couple of the big boys are going to get rotated out, and there's some big shifts gone up in there. So it'll be interesting to see what impact they have on the game.
Yeah, expecting a couple of debuts to be made today, at least one for the Army with those interchange players. No fewer than 16 last year, so plenty of turnover in the squads. Getting a fresh look at some players and how they stand up to pressure, especially on days like this. Referee just having a word with West skipper, and well, player sent off. Looks like it's Adam Vranos, number 12. The referee losing his patience eventually there.
Yeah, not quite sure what he's been sent off for. I do know he's been at the heart of every little bit of needle, pushing and shoving conversation, so maybe he's took it a little bit too far on that occasion, so he's been sent off. So Army got the ball, let's put it down, have a good set. There's a man down, let's hopefully look to exploit that.
McDonald puts it into touch, 40 metres line. Sugavanua tapping it off as the ball comes out. Todd Johnson into contact. Let's loop around to Dylan Jackson. Going the other way this time, Mikey McDonald looking for a bit of space. Looks as if a little half break could have been opening up there. He tries to dart around the sides with some very nice footwork. And just spilling that ball though. And they'll be disappointed, the Army, with that.
Well, that's a shame. That was building nicely. Again, it just seems to, just at that clinical moment, just that little bit of composure seems to be lacking. And again, I kind of said it earlier, it's probably just rust at this point, but hopefully we can get on top of that. We got them pinned back. They're playing out from their 20, so let's have a good, good set here. Let's keep them pinned down in this area and trying to play off the back of that. Again, for the next 10 minutes, the Army have got a man up.
Well, you allude to it. It's one of the challenges, of course, at this time of year, isn't it? Coming off that Christmas break, neither side will have had the luxury of having had a long run into this in terms of games or even in terms of training sessions. But yeah, now 23 minutes into this match, hoping to shake off that rust if any's there. And West 4-0 up at this stage, still fairly close.
Yeah, I know. Lee demands a lot of his players. There absolutely would have been a message that he would want them to stay engaged, hitting the gym, hitting the field over the Christmas period. So I know definitely Houghton, he's all over it on Instagram. He's in the gym all the time in his vest.
Oh, and once again, and almost just getting a tap tackle in on Robinson there. The Army defenders, but almost through. And it's a good tempo from West Warriors here. Out it comes this time, Matt Ross cutting back inside. Kahihifo, the try scorer, was outside him. Arms in the air from Bailey Simpson.
You can see the West 11 there. He's not daft. He could see the ref is on either side, so he's holding Hooper's arm, trying to milk a penalty there, but the ref's quite savvy. He spotted that.
Army pinned back towards their own try line. Sugavanua looking for space outside him. And Todd Johnson using his feet. Hooper this time.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Todd Johnson so far. He's put in a big shift. Seems to have a good bit of footwork as well. Not scared to put his hand out. He seems to be winning his battle over on that side. And I think Hooper's going well on this side against Robinson, who seems to be a hell of a player. So it seems to be a good scrap in that front row.
Out it goes on the far side. Little chip coming through the kick, but that goes into touch. And well, elsewhere it's halftime in Portsmouth, where the Royal Navy trail Hammersmith Hills Hoist 8-4. Josh Caribou scored for the Navy first, but Hammersmith Hills Hoists came back to lead, so 8-4 at halftime in that game.
Yeah, Hammersmith, they're another SAL side. For the last few years, it's been Hammersmith Hoist and West battling out for the title. They're another very good team, predominantly a lot of Australians, so their sledging's even better than the West.
Yeah, if there were a league for sledging game, it would be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
So you get West change at right prop. Sam Griffiths played against him. He is a old school hard runner, all knees, all elbows. It'll definitely look to get him on the front foot.
Defender's nightmare.
Absolutely, he's a man mountain of a human being.
Oh, and it comes again, Ikahifo, and has he got over the line? Well, the try scorer of the first is also try scorer of the second. Another for West Warriors. You're converting well. That pressure they're exerting on the Army.
Yeah, Kennison took it very flat. You could just see he just paused it, gave a little double pump, which just drew in the winger. He didn't know whether to go or stay, and then he just put it across the face. That is really a bit of classy play from the halfback there.
Well, it's a favoured route for them, West Warriors. Their supporters singing away in the background as well. The Army in their huddle behind the posts. Just a few things to think about as we approach the half-hour mark.
Yeah, I think the Army at the minute seems to be losing the battle over the floor, like I alluded to earlier. West are landing on the front, getting quick play, and the Army, maybe it's just 20 minutes, they're a little bit tired. They're kind of going one out, which is kind of easy to stack up on with defenders and slow them down. There's a couple of times where they use footwork. Sugar bounced someone off, put a step in, then lifted the ball. Keeping that ball alive keeps the defenders guessing. So I think first and foremost, so let's complete this set. Let's get them pinned down there. Army just need to look after the ball and get to the kick. I can't remember too many completed sets for the men in red at the minute.
Reece Walker, who wasn't able to convert the first try, lines up again with this attempt. Well, he's just pulled that once more. I'm afraid that's for him not gone over. So 8-0 the score remains to West Warriors as we approach half an hour played. And do get your comments coming in, of course, to us on YouTube. And it's great to have your company this afternoon. Biker Paul watching from Alsace in France. Go the Army. Sunrise 74 watching from Kampot in Cambodia. Come on, Joey Walker, says Jensen Moore. And Kevin Ward watching from Andorra. So a nice international mix we have so far of you watching. And keep your comments coming in. We'll endeavour to read them out. And once again, it's a pleasure to have you along with us this afternoon.
Yeah, another change to the Army. Kieran Fleming's come on. I think he's about to take this kick off. Very good player, explosive, should bring something to it. Another organiser. I think that's probably just a blow for Mikey because he's gone for an absolutely massive shift.
Fleming with the kick-off.
Really important now, the Army. What we don't want to do is let this game get away from us. Really need to get some time on the tackle, put some bodies in, put some shoulders into the contact and start slowing these boys down. If they get their tails up, they're incredibly dangerous to play against.
Dylan Laney coming into the line, interchange player for West Warriors. Neil Thorman's been ever present, and so has Robinson as well, and crashing that ball into the fence. Almost feigned to kick that, then passes, then goes behind the players. Laney trying to clear that up. Another scrum around halfway.
Yeah, really important. The Army start to up this completion rate. What you can't do against a team like this is defend for the majority of the game. They're too clever, they're too slick. You'll be too tired and they'll just exploit those errors when people are tired.
Todd Johnson once again, you mentioned his work rate, Mikey, and once again thumping into West Warriors defenders. Joey Walker this time.
Yeah, looking there, a little bit of a crisp packet pass. Wasn't really expecting it, wasn't really the right time to give it, but we've still got the ball. Hopefully we can milk a penalty from this.
Thumping challenge there on Tamani, and moving back inside very nicely.
Just need the composure now, they broke the line. Nice calm heads, listen to the halfbacks, finish the set well.
Army just building some momentum, you feel here.
Yeah, that's good from Houghton. That's the first time the Army halfbacks actually attack the line, fix the defence. We just keep going wide, which is quite easy for West just to drift. So it's good he's attacking the line there.
Hooper taking that ball ever closer to the posts. Stoic defence from West Warriors. The ball comes back. Oh, and well, West Warriors celebrate. There's a bit of crossing there, and players just getting in the way of each other, as the Army showed real promise there, close to the line.
Yeah, they'll be frustrated with the finish. That was, very good set. They broke the line, But what they shouldn't be upset with is where they've turned the ball over. West have got to play out from their 5. So yeah, we've messed one up. But 1 minute, everyone puts their hand up. Let's have a big effort here. Let's keep them down here. Try and get one. Bit of pressure, get a mistake, and hopefully turn the ball over down in this end.
Off the boot of Matt Kennerson, he finds touch and clears his lines. Laney shunted back. Joey Walker again in the business and defence. Robinson comes flying through. A very familiar sight today so far. A little chip in over the top. Watched very carefully. And dribbles into touch. An interchange for the Army. Jake Toer. Looks like Hooper is coming off. Adam Hooper, who's had a very good game in defence and attack today.
Yeah, he's had his steady stint there. He's got a hard job on that side. Robinson seems to be one of the standout players on the pitch at the minute. Big work rate, hits the ball at pace. Adam Hooper's putting a big shift there. He's done well, so that's a deserved break.
Todd Johnson trying to wrestle with some of those defenders. Tyler Johnson-Thomas among them. And the ball comes back, and Fleming gets it out, and Jake Toer getting a touch early on after coming on.
Yeah, he's found the floor twice. He's done well there. I think he'll be getting a bit of stick from the front row union now. Can't remember last time I saw a prop wearing a white top for a game.
And that ball just spilling forward. The offload not quite working there.
That's a shame. He shaped it really well to get the offload off. Just couldn't get it away, but I was unlucky. That was some good play there.
Just can't quite converse at the moment, the Army. They're getting in good positions, especially a short time ago near the West try line, but just little mistakes creeping in, and maybe just a lack of a bit of patience, do you think, Mikey?
Yeah, absolutely. That sense of frustration, it's hard to put across how frustrating it can be when the other team is just in your ear chirping, especially when you're making mistakes after mistakes. That definitely seems to be having an effect on the Army boys. Just need to disregard that. Just worry about completing the set. That's all we need to worry about, and ultimately they won't be talking when the scoreboard's reversed, so that's the mentality that the Army needs to have. But yeah, we just need to get rid of these mistakes. Trust the process, because they are getting in good positions, they are creating opportunities. It's just not quite sticking at the minute, so that's probably the message at half-time, I'm presuming, from Rents to the boys, is let's just keep playing, just work on execution.
Johnson-Thomas with his hands on the ball for West's Warriors. And Dylan Laney, another interchange player for them. He's been busy so far too. Foreman goes the other way. Chipping that through. And who's back there for the Army in defence, trying to parry that ball, but the West Warriors have it. And it's very threatening now for the British Army in defence. Ball just being spilled and going forward as well, much to the delight of those Army players herring back to try and clean up.
Yeah, Thorman at 9 is quietly excellently going about his business. He's keeping the markers engaged, he's stepping out, just put a little kick through. It's a rugby ball, it bounces, it could go anywhere. So Cavan struggled to deal with that one, and West came up with it. Luckily, they knocked it on close to the sticks. But the Army have definitely dodged the bullet there.
Players form another scrum. A few minutes to go until half-time. And British Army 0, West Warriors 8 points in Aldershot. Oh, and that's very dangerous now once again for the British Army as West Warriors look to pick this ball up. It was spilled by red shirts. Tomasi Gribble taking that forward for his side. Thorman once more, but goes behind, and that's loose.
They've done well there. Like, that's an absolute coach killer. Off the scrum, first pass, we've put it over the player's head, put ourselves under pressure. These are mistakes that you're really going to struggle to outwork to get back into a game. Effort like that will absolutely try it though.
Wonderful Joey Walker there. Just having a bit of a word with the defence as well. A great attitude. Willing to put in the hard yards as well for his side to get front foot ball.
Yeah, he's one of the UCAF players in this team. He's absolutely one of the boys that, he has to lead the way. And if he can't do it with chat, he's going to do it by effort like you saw there.
Army looking for options on that far side. James Adams. Ball coming through, a little grubber as well. The try scorer looking to take the responsibility of defending it.
Yeah, that's good actually, a bit of kick pressure. You can see Amici early on in the set waving for it to be kicked wide out here. Actually it was Jake Sayer, the prop, that put the kick through. Fair play to him, that was a good kick. And the Army have got round, so we look a little bit energised here. That's always what happens with a good set. Got them pinned down. Let's complete this set, boys. Keep them down here and hunt a mistake. Robinson down in back play, one of the West's best players. He's been struggling for a few minutes here.
He's been instrumental in momentum for West Warriors today, just really hitting that line at pace and thundering forward. And the Army defence has had its work cut out. Anytime he's had his hands on the ball, a very familiar sight, isn't it?
No, absolutely, he's done well. Again, Army kick, really good 2 or 3 phases of defence down there, and then we've got a little bit over eager, just let the pressure off West because we've given an easy penalty, so they'll clear the line and just look to make it to half time. Challenge there for the Army coaching team, Rents, Kes Cartmel, etc. Some experienced heads in there. I played Army with a lot of those boys, so they've got the experience and the knowledge. They'll sit the boys down, calm them down, give them the right messages to come back onto the park too, and then hopefully, as you say, rugby, it's a game of swords, isn't it?
Sure is, as we approach half-time. Ball going out of play. Wests will be thinking they might have one more opportunity here before the whistle goes at the interval. And the Army will be looking to stave off that attack and regroup at half-time. Back it comes to Kennerson. Right to Gribble. It's good Army defence. And Tamani. And the referee signals for half-time. British Army 0, West Warriors 8 here at the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot. We've seen plenty of attack and defence from both sides. The West Warriors so far have been able to convert more opportunities. British Army, they'll be frustrated at some of the opportunities they've spurned. Just little mistakes creeping in as they go through some of their sets. But Mikey Harrison, plenty to enjoy from both sides. You've mentioned, of course, what you reckon the Army coaching staff will be saying to their players What about West's Warriors? They'll be fairly content, obviously, at this stage, but wary of what the Army will bring out in the second half.
Yeah, the Army body language looks pretty good there. They all look connected. You know, there's plenty of pats on the back, high fives. You know, they seem up for the task. West, I think, if anything, they'll be a bit frustrated. They've probably left a couple of scores out there, so you know they know that they've got a couple of gears to go yet. It's just been the occasion and some of that. You know, when the Army have clicked and defended well, they've caused those mistakes. So you know, I'm really excited for the second half. I think it'll be a really good game, and hopefully Army can get an early score, and then we can see where we go from there.
I think as well, the quality of the pitch has been reflected by the atmosphere in the crowd too. It's been quite noisy at times.
No, what an atmosphere to come back from. You've had, you know, a few weeks off. You've not played rugby since September, so you're pulling on a red shirt, the sun's shining, and you've got plenty of people who have turned out to make plenty of noise for you. So hopefully, again, the guys can turn up and give the crowd, you know, something that they've turned up to watch.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to come back very shortly for the second half. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure you can't either. We'll have plenty more for you in just a few moments, but right now we'll take a look at what else has been happening around the military sporting world.
No one is going to stop him. Magnificent performance and magnificent play there.
Double time in this match. Thrilling stuff.
Kick up, and are they going to follow? Oh, ball through it. That went forwards, unfortunately. That's the area. They're going to pick it up.
On now.
Play advantage, and she's got the legs, and she's got the legs. It's Ashby over for the Navy's second try.
John, but you know, you build the pressure and the points will come. It's a process, isn't it? Here we go. He's in.
Wide, and
Great
it's
stuff.
over.
Yeah, good football. Good football.
And it's the fullback, Kieran Prescott, who's over. And it
Needs to be a good kick. Get it in corner. Again.
It goes for the corner, but it's quite high and nicely collected,
We'll come away
beautifully
with that.
collected by Tamani.
And then Fiji rugby.
And
then
it's
Fiji
going
rugby
wide here
fits
onto
in
the
here.
left-hand side, and this is going to be a second try
Fiji
for the British
rugby
Army.
fits
And the man who's got in this time for them.
Coach Jack to bring her on, get that impact early, get it straight out there.
And
there he
Lou's
goes,
gonna
he
break
goes,
for
Lou,
number 8.
hit me another
And
try.
she's over! Congratulations, number 8, Lou!
Funny enough, I said the same. I said to my dad I was going to come and play in World Cup, but at the same time, rugby really wasn't my thing to do when I was in Army. But then, same again, you can't help yourself, can you? Rugby league through.
What a recovery! That's a fantastic bit of work then from the fullback, and he's set his man off. Yeah, he's set off Tamani, and Tamani is going to score a 5th try for the British Army, and that was a remarkable bit of play.
Forget about the ball. Absolutely.
Nice
good
one, that's a
ball.
beautiful
Good ball.
offload.
Here we go, Prescott on
Real
the good
chance
side.
then. Here's Prescott through,
Here we go.
and surely he's going to score. And that was magnificent work then from Tyler Richardson. And he's through for his second try, is Kieran Prescott.
Could this be Europe's next battlefield?
Everyone who can defense.
It's something you have to protect.
They are part of a growing number of Lithuanians who can see and feel the growing threat their country faces and want to play their part in protecting their homeland.
We have to develop new technology to keep our forces at the forefront and on the battlefield, ahead of our adversaries.
The King welcoming the newest Royal Naval officers at BRNC Dartmouth.
The great thing about these graduates is it really is showing that we can attract a different type of people into our force.
Is there an undercover agent living on your street? Authorities are uncovering covert networks hidden in plain sight.
The briefing the soldiers just received took place around a model credibly detailed, and it was made by the boys themselves.
In the British military, powerlifting is booming. But do the Brits really have a hope against America?
Hi, I'm Kyle Dixon, and this is In Case You Missed It. Former British Army soldier Scott Mina is among the first British snow sport athletes to be named onto the Paralympics GB squad for the upcoming Milano Cortina Winter Games. Mina will compete in the Para-Nordic skiing events, where he will be hoping to sign off in spectacular fashion in what he says will be his third and final Paralympic Games. The first ever inter-services darts match between the RAF and the Royal Navy has ended in success for the senior service. The highlights from RAF Cosford included a number of 180s, as well as Warrant Officer Darryl Jackson delivering a brilliant average of 73.66. It was up to Petty Officer John O'Neill to seal the Navy a win, a first in the military darts world. Look out for the Irish. The Irish Defence Forces have officially received an invite to take part in the Kentish Cup, starting this year. One of the oldest cup competitions in all of Europe will now be a 4-team tournament with the Irish, French, Dutch and UK Armed Forces, while it's also expected we'll get a second UCAF v Irish clash later in the year. The latest HMS Sultan boxing show had a Navy v Army twist. Fighters from both services across all skill levels, as well as competitors from civilian clubs, took part in a superb night of action. Marine Connor Fanning was the headline win in the 75kg weight limit. Who will host the 2029 Invictus Games? The shortlist has been whittled down to just 3 cities now in contention, and the games will be held at either Aalborg, Denmark, Daejeon, Korea, or San Diego, USA in 3 years' time. The decision will be announced this summer.
No one is going to stop him. Magnificent performance and magnificent play there.
Full time in this match. Thrilling stuff.
Welcome back to our live coverage of this Challenge Cup. First round clash where the British Army trail West Warriors by 8 points to 0. The Army Rugby Stadium here in Aldershot. It's a beautiful sunny January day. A couple of tries coming in there in that first half for West's Warriors, just converting the opportunities that they had and the possession close to that Army line. The Army frustrated. I'm sure they'll be at half-time, unable to convert some of their opportunities themselves, but plenty of time to go in this fixture. Mikey Harrison alongside me. We've seen some enterprising rugby from both teams. They've obviously had the benefit of a dry day. A lot of humming and hawing midweek about whether this fixture would go ahead. We of course know what happened last year with the Army against the RAF being frozen and called off due to that pitch. But thankfully today, here we are. We've seen 40 minutes so far. Excited for what we have next.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some horrendous away days as the Army. I remember playing at Egremont and I think it was like -5 and it was awful. So, you know, sun's out. Hopefully we can start bringing these Fijian centres we've got for the Army, get them a bit of ball. When we've seen them, they have looked dangerous. We've not moved it wide too much. They've just got to complete. Once they complete, they'll get into the flow of it. Then that flair will start coming. They can move the ball around. As you said, it is a dry day, so it, we'll lean. And you see West are doing it. The halves are getting outside our second rows and flashing the ball across to their wingers. So I'd like to see the ball in our wingers and our centres a bit more. I think forwards win the arm wrestle, but ultimately it's the backs that are the ones that are going to score those tries. So I think that's the key for the Army. Get the ball in the halves of those guys.
Well, having done it yourself for over a decade in the past, pulling on that red Army shirt, how How much extra does it mean, though, on a day like today, playing in this fantastic competition?
Everything. I think, I've had it captain say it to me, and when I've been captain, when there's been tough moments, the first message is, boys, look down, look at the badge that's on your chest. Think of the people that would love to be wearing this shirt now. Those that can't, maybe they've been away, they've been injured on tour, or sadly they've lost their lives doing our job. Ultimately, you should never be short as an Army player wearing an Army shirt for motivation.
Both sets of players now back out onto the pitch. Motivation clear to see in the first half, and eager to press their advantage, the West Warriors. And Army eager to respond quickly as we get underway shortly here for the second 40 and older shot.
I think West will be, they'll be excited for this fresh half. I said it earlier, I think they would have felt they left a couple of scores on the pitch in the first half, and I've played against them and watched them a lot. They are a very good team when they get their tails up, so they'll be wanting to get an early score and just kind of take over and kind of try and run away with this game now.
Fullback Bailey Simpson with the ball on the tee, ready to restart proceedings. And we're back underway in the first round clash of this Challenge Cup.
Off the back fence then, here we go.
Good pace shown there.
Yeah, he's done well to ride that. 4 guys on him. He's still managed to spin out and find the floor, so hopefully the rest of the set looks like that.
Ball recycled, and it comes back, and that's sloppy again. 3 Army hands into those of Paul McCulloch. Centre for West Warriors.
Yeah, Challenge Cup, second half, 8 down. Let's just keep the ball. If we need to go 1 out for a set, let's just do that. Let's just complete. Absolutely killing ourselves there.
Once again, the West Warriors just metres away from the Army try line, and infringement there again, just Army discipline letting them down.
Yeah, Viliami Samaka, he's just come on, not to start the Army would have wanted, or he personally would have wanted, but I'm sure he'll make up for it.
A shout out to him, making his debut today, Viliame Saumaki.
Congrats to the Red Shirt Club.
Wonderful moment, of course, as the West Warriors decide to take a pop at goal. And their penalty, Reece Walker.
It's a good decision. It has been a bit of a scrappy game, so we can get down here, let's walk away with points. And if you're going to kick it. The Army are fresh, there's no point making the defender another 6. They're not fatigued, so for me it just makes sense. Kick down there, the Army will then kick to them, and then we'll go again. But again, Army killing themselves, that's the first set, and it's an incomplete straight away.
Walker eyes up the posts. And the kick's a good one. And points added, picking up where they left off, West Warriors, being very clinical in that red zone, that danger zone for the Army. And now a 10-point lead they have. British Army 0, West Warriors 10. A couple of minutes played in this second half.
Boys just need to stay composed. There's no change there. The West have missed both conversions, so it's still a 2-score game. No change for the Army whatsoever. Wipe that off, shake off the mistake. Let's have a really big reaction here. Let's really get off the line, high line speed. Let's send a message to West that this is going to be a tough 40 minutes, and the Army up for the challenge.
The Army, of course, fully aware of the support that West Warriors have brought with them. Those songs getting ever louder as the West Warriors lead grows, which will serve as more motivation, of course, for an Army response. And in possession of Warriors. Army just lacking a bit of discipline here.
Yeah, and the West aren't a team that you want to do this to. If they get their tails up, they just start to run away with games. They really will. So Army just kind of really need to get a grip of this discipline here. It's 2 ways you'll kill yourself in a rugby game: ill discipline and ill completion. And at the minute, we're doing both. So again, we keep saying it, touch wood. We get a big reaction here from the Army.
There's a little attention for some players and a chance to have some water on board as well.
That's the third player I've seen for the Army with the kickoff. Obviously, Mikey McDonald started. He then had Kieran Fleming. That's the third kicker. It's interesting to see going through. I feel like there's not an out-and-out kicker. I know when I was playing, I was lucky enough that I had James Young and Darren Bamford, Navy lad. You know, you knew they were getting the ball. They were probably going to pop a horrible spiral bomb. They learned down in Australia, but you know, that's what the Army need at the minute. They need one of the halfbacks to just stand up and just boss this game. Yeah, that's desperately what's needed at the minute.
Josh Wall coming on for West Warriors. What a moment for him to come on. Lewis Robinson, who's been integral to the success so far in this match of West Warriors. He's coming off and sitting down in the dugout, just getting a little attention. Looks to have had a bit of a bang on the mouth. Now the visitors once again take that ball up to the line. Laney, a nice little switch there through to the new man on the pitch, Wall. Thorman, ever present, ever busy. Johnson Thomas this time.
Like, it's frustrating because they're playing against the Army, but it's really good to watch West. They're just so organised, they're just so relaxed. The only person talking is a halfback. Everyone else is just nice and chilled, in shape early, and just, you know, they just work through their sets.
A little too cute was that kick from Bailey Simpson. Not quite the intended effect for him. Yeah, it's a nice thing for the skipper Neil Thorman, West Warriors, as you say, Mikey. Just being able to look up and know exactly who he's hitting next. Just chatting.
That's, I mean, that's one of the. So I'd say on paper the Army should have the physical advantage, as in they should be fitter as soldiers. But West, they live and train all the time. You know, they would have been training over Christmas together because they knew they had this fixture, and you can just tell they're just slick. They know what they're doing. They look rehearsed. But this is Army rugby. You're pulling that red shirt. You know that's one of the difficulties that comes with it. And, you know, it's something that they've got to work through. And, you know, the soldiers, ultimately, they should fight harder the more difficult the challenges. And, you know, we seem to be up against it at the minute. So 25 minutes left to go.
Well, some celebrations again from West's Warriors. They're trying to push hard here and keep the Army pinned back. Just over 5 minutes played in the second half. Yeah, the victors, of course, of this match go on to play London Broncos in the next round.
Actually, the Broncos scouting team just sat in front of us. I've got a lot of stash. I'll see if they've got any spare.
Be turning up next time with all sorts of different stash, Mikey Harrison.
Any rugby player worth their salt is not scared to pull on multiple shirts if you mean stash buddy.
Especially in this weather as well.
Absolutely.
Thorman looking for his options. Laney chooses. Johnson Thomas. Laney bounced back there. Not afraid to keep that moving. Our Warriors. So many options, it seems, on both shoulders.
Yeah, Laney, he plays incredibly flat. He's took the ball in 3 or 4 times, and the Army have absolutely climbed into him because they spotted a smaller player, but he still attacks the line with pace. He still draws people in. He's been busy. He's got a good shot. You know, he looks like a good player, to be fair.
Well, as the winter sun beams down on us here at the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot, do let us know where you're watching on YouTube, BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. Great to have your company this afternoon as the West Warriors line up for another attempt through the posts.
See the Army coaches huddled down there. I think one of the things that we're going through their head at the minute will probably be getting Mikey back onto the pitch. Just ultimately, it's the captain who's going to lead that discipline on the field, and it's kind of slipping away at the minute. It just seems to be that leadership is missing. We're a bit excited, we're a bit giddy. We want to work our way back in, but we're just kind of doing it in the wrong ways at the minute, which is resulting in West putting 2 penalties over. So, I'd like to see Mikey introduced back in and just have a big reaction from the boys.
Just need that bit of control as Rhys Walker puts another penalty through the posts. It's British Army 0, West Warriors 12 so far, just into the second half. Darren Mallett says, "Go Wests, watching from Barking, East London." Sharon Burns, "Come on Army." Shout out to number 8, Adam Hooper. Dylan Jackson putting the boot through that one for the restart. As you mentioned, a number of players who've taken kicking duties today for those red shirts.
Yeah, I'd like to see the kicks a little bit deeper. Ultimately, you kind of want the halfback catching the ball in and around the try line, so they're pinned all the way back. We only seem to be getting 20 or 30 metres with his kicks, which straight away, you West are closer to the halfway line, which is probably the aim when you're working out of your yardage set. You want to get to halfway, put a good kick in down there, and we're kind of doing a job by not really kicking deep enough.
Johnson Thomas has been busy since he's come on for West's Warriors. Thorman just a little bit in front of his receiver Beasley there, but no problems in the end. Ball goes up. Nice spiral as well from Bailey Simpson. And it working wonders from his perspective, and in fact his opposite number, Elliot Power, just slipping on the slightly greasy turf.
Yeah, it's nothing worse as the former fullback looking at the halfback, and you can just see he shaped the ball for horrendous spiral bomb. Luckily he had the sun behind him, but yeah, you could see when that came down he wanted none of it.
Well, his side have possession now.
That's what we need. Good run from James Mitri. Get in, nice quick play the ball, easy 10 metres. Just play one out, let's just complete the set, let's get to the kick.
Nicely bustled through as well. And Tamani trying to wrestle back some momentum for the British Army. Up to the line comes Todd Johnson. A nice offload as well.
Yeah, he's done that really well. There's a couple of times he's taken it, drawn in 2 or 3 defenders, and he's got a nice calm offload. I'd like to see a bit more push around that though. We know he's going to do it. Let's get around him.
The Army looking to utilise a bit of space out towards the left wing, and not quite going to plan, but it is cleaned up.
He's lost that, unlucky.
And yet again.
I might be mistaken, there might have been a 5 and last. I'll take that though. The West are on a 20, the Army's complete the set. Big defensive effort from the Army here.
Vranos, the man who was off in the bin, comes back on. Took that up to the line. Looking to ship this out quickly. Our West Warriors. Matt Beasley shunted back a little by the Army defence.
Yeah, it's the small things at the minute. West, they might, even if they go back in contact, they're still finding the floor, which means you get a quick play. Nice little break here.
Nice little... Well, applause all round for West Warriors. A little bit of afters as well coming through. And tempers boiling over here on the touchline. The referee just looking to resume a bit of control and a bit of discipline. But it was Bailey Simpson who shaped up for that spiral bomb once more. Dummied it, moved back inside. And Rhys Walker looking to chip the ball through. Army just getting in the way a little bit in defence. Players cooling down somewhat too.
Yeah, West kicked the ball. They felt that their player was taken out a little bit late. The centre number 4 went over to have a chat. He got a little bit aggressive in the face, and then Aaron Houghton's come in to defend his player, and then obviously it spiralled from there. Again, I hope it fires up the Army. They need something at the minute. Lacking a bit of energy, lacking a bit of direction. So, you know, if it needs to turn into an arm wrestle and a scrap again, then so be it. But they need something to ignite a bit of energy. We just think looking in, see what the referee's going to come with from a discipline perspective.
Jimmy Adams in the dugout now for the British Army. Referee just having a bit of a conference with his assistants there. That song's ringing out for Bailey Simpson. Visiting fans will have been enjoying his exploits in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, Jimmy will be frustrated to come off there. I think he's a recent German international with League, so he's a quality player. Played Army Masters with him. He's an older boy, but he's absolutely still got it. Game just didn't seem to be going his way at the minute, so I reckon I've probably pushed Mikey McDonald into half-back, left Fleming at 9, just to see if they can, you know, reinvigorate the side. Yeah, number 4, he was the one who instigated it. That's him in the bin.
Well, off he goes. Referee, no patience, as he shouldn't have, for any unrest out there. To apologise for any adverse language you may have heard in the background there as well. Just a few tempers still a little heated, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, number 4 a little bit hot as he went past the Army bench, exchanged a few trials as he went past.
I want a red shown on a big moment there. Massive in this game. Receiving a few send-offs as well. And the officials are doing their very best just to keep a lid on things here. Starting to boil over.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I know Jake, he's normally a good lad. His head's absolutely falling off down there, so I'm not sure what's going on, but he'll be frustrated that he's been sent off wearing the red shirt.
Jake Tower, Army 15. No love lost there between both sets of players, but hopefully we can get back to proceedings, back to the game, and Thorman with ball in hand. West Warriors, lest we forget, have the advantage here again.
Yeah, I think last time I seen a big dust up in the, I think it was Army RAF. I think you guys were covering that. That definitely was a little bit more animated than what happened there. But yeah, hopefully we can get back to the rugby now and the Army can start to claw their way back into this game.
It means so much, of course, to these players. And every so often, behaviour just needs controlled by the ref a little bit. It's clear to see the passion.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good line speed so far from the Army. We need to win these contact. They were hitting people but bouncing off, letting them find the floor. We need to hit and stick, try and get them on the back. West seems to have good numbers here.
Yeah, very good numbers out now, left-hand side, reaching over the try line. Have they got there? They have indeed. A third try for West's Warriors today in Aldershot. Celebrating in that huddle. Every player to a man coming over to celebrate. And the Army trudging back behind the posts, which has been somewhat, sadly for them, a familiar sight today. But my word, West Warriors have been impressive in how clinical they've been, finishing off those chances.
Yeah, I think we started the game for the first 20 minutes. It's quite even, you know, a little bit scrappy. No one's really executing. All that's happened is West seems to have solved their problems. You know, the offloads have started to stick. The lines are starting to come off now. They've warmed into this game as it's gone on. And, you know, the Army, as yet, haven't done that. You know, I don't know how many times I've said that's a coach killer, but they really are killing themselves, especially at first phase. West are too good. You will get punished if you continue to not complete and be ill-disciplined.
Well, the daylight between the two scorers grows ever larger. This is an opportunity to go 18 points clear.
Yeah, really imperative the Army get the next score now. You know, they need to build a bit of pressure, they need to get down the other end of the field, but they absolutely need to get on that scoreboard if there's a way back into this game.
Visiting coaching staff delighted, of course, standing there in front of the dugouts with the points they've earned themselves. And British Army 0, West's Warriors 18 with just over 20 minutes to go here in Aldershot. And the visiting fans get louder ever still.
Yeah, it's saddening from someone who that red shirt means so much to, and I'm sure, you know, it'll be digging into the guys on the pitch, hearing the away fans in the crowd being this loud and raucous, but ultimately they're the only ones on that pitch that can do anything about it. Their job is to complete this set and, you know, get on the scoreboard and shut these guys up.
How influential will Mikey McDonald's boot be and his playing style?
It'll be interesting to sort of rinse after. I feel like that kick's very, I don't know if they're deliberately targeting a specific player in that channel or a specific position, because that was a very place kick from Mikey. He's got a massive boot, so I know he could definitely ping that a lot deeper, so I think that must be a tactic they're deliberately trying to employ.
Here comes Laney again. Running into Salmaki, the debutant for the Army. And cutting back in field. An interesting,
what a shot that is.
Interesting tactic, especially running into that red wall.
Yeah, number 12's already had a time in the bin for sounding off, so I thought that was a bit of an Army retribution there.
He's been so physical today, Todd Johnson.
Yeah, he's on a big stint. He's not been off the pitch yet. That is a massive stint from a prop.
Up it goes. Power takes that in cleanly. Looks to use his feet to get out of trouble. Again, an advantage for his man. Dump tackle coming in there.
Yeah, Wests are pretty fresh. You know, they've not done a lot of defence in this game, so you know they should look good for a couple of sets. But yeah, the Army working out well. Near the halfway line now. Let's finish a set. Let's complete it, and then you know put another one on the back of that.
Nice bit of working with the pass there from McDonald to Walker.
Here we go, 5 and last.
And the McDonald boot comes in, trying to put it in behind Walker. Walker takes that fairly comfortably.
Shots, doesn't find the floor, but that's a great start to the set. We put kick, turn them round, they've got it on their 20, so let's have a bit of line speed from the energy now. Bit of energy, let's pin them down here.
They've managed their sets well today, West Warriors. Been very much in control of all their options. Matt Ross taking that ball through.
Yeah,
looking for his options.
They've completed very well today. You know, they've still dropped a couple of tries that they'll be frustrated at. That is a great bit of hands, a lovely tip on. Yeah, they'll be quite happy. The completion rate's got better as they've gone on, and you know that's why they're on top in this game.
Looking at that handling, as you mentioned there, Mikey, you know, when things are going for you and you've earned that momentum, then the little 50-50 moments work in your favour.
Yeah, you know, I was lucky enough to go to Australia in the summer with the Royal Signals. We took a mixed code tour, but that's not luck. That's absolutely something that they train. You know, Aussies and the Kiwis are so skillful, and they absolutely play for 80 minutes. No matter what they need to do, they'll find a way to win the game.
Move it out that left-hand side, looking for a bit of space out in the wing now. Trying to get it in once more.
That is a great bit of defence from James Dimitri there. He stripped for numbers, held his patience. He's managed to put him in such right at the line. But that's multiple times. They've gone down the Army right. The West left, obviously, they scored 2 tries in the first half down in at this other end. But they do look dangerous going down that side.
Yeah, favoured option for West's Warriors. This time the Army defence resolute. Ref looking at his watch. Just over 15 minutes to go in this clash. Still 18 points of a gulf between the sides in this match. British Army 0, West's Warriors 18.
Yeah, you've got a West injured there. I think it's Salmaki. He had an arm wrap on, he's taken it off, and he seems to be clutching that wrist as he's walking off the pitch, so hopefully that's nothing serious. All right, I'd like to see a big set from the Army here. Hard carries, find the floor, quick plays of the ball. Let's get a penalty. That's gone backwards.
Just got to improve that retention rate as well. And completions have been found wanting, as you said before. McDonald. Nice flat pass this time.
Yeah, it's good to see though. They seem to be moving the ball a little bit wider, so trying to get on the fringe as opposed to just going down the middle. Most teams are strong around the ruck. The ABC defenders in and around the ruck. So that's not anything we've done yet. Is test them on that fringe. So it's good to see we're moving it wider.
McDonald with that left boot again, trying to get in and around Simpson, which he does, and goes into touch.
That's a good set. You'll get down there, turn them around. Okay, we got the ball off the field. We've got a chance to recoup, have a chat, have a breather, hopefully start flying off this line. Let's try and hunt an error down here now.
Laney coming off from West Warriors. Callahan back in the field, and Tyler Johnson-Thomas just warming up to come back on as well for the visitors.
Yeah, I kind of said it earlier when that tussle happened and we received those cards. The Army seemed to have improved from that point. They were down to, they've been down to 12 people here. They've had a really good reaction so far, so hopefully that can continue.
A word in now from Portsmouth, where it's full time, and the Royal Navy, I'm afraid to say for Navy fans, are out. Royal Navy 4, Hammersmith Hills Hoist 18 in that match, so a disappointing day for them.
Yeah, I think they're a very good team, Hammersmith Horse, and that's no shame to the Navy. Obviously, I'm Army. I'm not upset they've gone out, but that's no shame to lose to them by that score. They are a very good team, very similar to what we're watching here. The RFL they're trying really hard to grow the sport of rugby league within London. I know that from a refereeing and a coaching perspective. The amount of noise and emails I receive being in this area, and obviously playing in the SCL, there's a lot of London-based teams. That is a big kick.
Another spiral bomb comes up, well taken by Power in the end. You could see that swaying in the air and spinning madly.
No, he did very well there, and what that does for the Army, the defenders in front of him, that builds confidence. They know that he's going to deal with that sort of thing if it comes behind. It's like being a goalkeeper, being a fullback. You make a mistake, everyone in the world sees it, sadly. If anyone else makes a mistake, great break.
Lovely break, that's beautiful. Tamani coming through, has to get the legs to get there.
Inside. Lift it.
Lovely offload coming through, and beautiful try, Maitre there for the British Army. Some respite from that West Warriors pressure and putting themselves on the board.
Lovely break and a lovely finish. What was great to see there was Amici working so hard on his shoulder to get with him. I know James very well, just spent the last couple of seasons coaching him. He's only been in the Army about 16, 18 months. Raw Signals, we were lucky we had a friendly against Nottingham Outlaws, and their coach said that one of his lads was in the Army, and I was like, there's 90,000 people who probably don't know him, but he was actually in Blandford, and he's joined. Fast forward under a year, he's in the Army first team. He's a fantastic young talent, and he's definitely someone I'm going to look forward to watching their career grow within the Army setup.
That must be a nice side of your coaching these days as well, Mikey, seeing the young talent coming through and being able to nurture that and see it grow.
Yeah, there's a few of these boys that, you know, whilst I was still playing in the Army setup, a few of these boys were either in the academy or, you know, they were breaking into the first team. So it's really good to see them kicking on now, and you know, those leaders in the team, your Mikeys, your Joey Walkers, etc. So you know, it's really heartening as well from a core coaching perspective to see guys that, you know, you train with on a monthly basis, or you try and develop to then putting those skills into practice out here. And you know, I can't take much credit for that. James is absolutely blessed with pace.
Well, Mikey McDonald putting the extras on the board. So British Army 6, West Warriors 18, as we approach the final 10 minutes of this match at the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot.
Yeah, and you know, it seems like 2 seconds ago they put that massive kick down the other end, and then the Army have gone up the other way. You know, you can see from the West body language now that seems to having a bit of an effect. They all of a sudden now look a little bit tired and a little bit slumped. So Army again, receive the ball, let's complete, and let's move it down to there in the field and play down there again. 10 minutes to get 2 scores, building for a nice finish to this game.
Simpson putting that restart very deep towards the Army try line.
Here we go then, fresh meat, what's he got? Could hear that collision from up in the stands, big shot.
Yeah, been hearing quite a few of them today, haven't we, with the physicality from both sides. And certainly he's been one of the men at the centre of it. It's Todd Johnson from the Army.
No, yeah, he's been outstanding. He's, you know, definitely one of them, if not the best Army player on show today, I think. I think that's my hat trick for commentator's curse there.
It just had to happen, didn't it? You may as well be consistent, and you have been, Mikey.
Yeah, he's a good player. What's good to see him is, with props, they normally just head down and run hard. What he's got is a nice late bit of footwork. So he's not just running into 3 people. He's kind of putting all his force into one defender, and that's why, you know, a lot of the times he's managed to get that offload away. But yeah, no, he looks like a very talented player.
McDonald goes back to Joey Walker. Out it comes to him again. Looking to use that power of the British Army, trying to get piercing through the middle of that defence.
The Army are in shape. I'd just like to see him a little bit flatter. We're so deep, it just gives the West so much time to move across. So straight away we're stripped for numbers there.
West Warriors managed to bundle the men into defence, in their defence, into touch, I should say, and celebrating that good bit of defensive work.
Just a difference there within the halves. Like, the boys have done well there, but you've got Mike and Aaron stood next to each other, and you've got nothing coming back in between them. So you know they're going to, the West know they're going to pass, so they can just continue to slide and just usher us into touch there. The Army need someone to come back across the grain, or they need the halfbacks to straighten and take it really flat and then pull it out the back. And that's what the West do. The halves take it really flat, and then they're giving that pass at the gain line.
Here it comes again for the visitors. Judd Greenhall this time.
Yeah, Fleming's done well there. He's giving away a lot of kilos in that tackle. He still managed to put him on his back. Leading with an elbow there, ref. Didn't see that one, though.
Looking to utilise that left wing again, our West Warriors. And the scorer of that brace of tries, Ikahehifo, being taken down.
Yeah, I think the West 7, for me, he's run this game. Everything good the West have been involved in, most of the scores, he's been at the heart of it.
The pass bouncing, but still finding the man. And that coming back now towards Simpson, putting that ball cross field up into the air for some very eager attackers, but well tracked back by Army defence.
Yeah, Mikey read that well. They were stripped for numbers. He shot out the line, put the pressure on. you know, stalled a little bit, and then they've put a kick up, and you've got Big Sugar, 6'4", sitting underneath it. So I don't think the Army would have been too concerned that he was under that.
Sugar very capable of dealing with that. But celebrations now for West Warriors. Another score. Well, it's been a great day for the travelling fans. No such score, I beg your pardon. Ever closer they were to that line. But exerting more pressure on that Army defence as they've been doing just through the game, Mikey Harrison, and now a bit of medical attention as we get ever closer to the full-time whistle.
Yeah, West managed to bund him over the try line, so we've got a dropout coming up here. But again, you know, West will be excited about this position. They'll want to attack here complete and put some more pressure on. They'd love to get another score here just to, you know, finally put this game to bed.
Interesting just to watch Bailey Simpson's leadership from fullback as well for West Warriors. He's been very vocal. He's been marshalling his troops very well, and just shouting at his players to get in the right positions, and just adding that bit of impetus as well, isn't he, towards the end of this match?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, he's quietly gone about his game. You know, he's got a very big boot on him. He's got 2 or 3 huge bombs up in the second half. Here we go, a big break from Joey Walker.
He's been at it all game, Walker, giving 100% every single time.
He refuses to cut off the mullet. Apparently gives him his rugby strength.
He's not the only one who's said that.
Yeah, I know Joey very well. I'll be very surprised if he's not wearing a pair of Army budgies under that, and if he's not stood on the pitch getting a picture in them later.
That's the sort of insight we love, eh?
Yeah, West, again, just quietly good. You know, not rushed, not panicked. They're doing very well with the Army, getting the guys on the ground, slowing them down, lots of time out of tackle. It just gives them a lot of time to get back, look at what shape the Army are in, and then you try and nullify that when it comes.
McDonald just delaying his pass very nicely. They're very experienced, of course, using that as well, as is Walker.
Yeah, quick play. Let's roll now, gentlemen.
Almost accelerates into those tackles, doesn't he, Joey Walker?
Yeah, he's down at Colchester 2-on-6 Signal Squadron, incredibly fit unit, and he's an absolute specimen of a human being. Loves the gym, so you know you can see the dividends from the work he does off the field when he plays.
Nice bit of evasion from Bailey Simpson. His footwork there.
It's interesting looking at West. You can see they look tired, but they're so connected. Like, they don't walk past each other without having a little high five or, you know, a little pat on the back. They're a very connected team. You can see they're very close, and you know that probably reflects in the way that they're always in shape, whether it be attack or defence. You know, they're a well-drilled side, but you can see they're willing to work for each other. You know, that's probably something we've not mentioned so far. Like, they've had to, you know, defend some big boys on the Army team, and you know they've handled us pretty well.
Of course, we mentioned the challenges that present themselves at the start of a calendar year, in terms of not maybe having been in training as much as they'd like, or certainly getting as many matches in the run-in. But as you were saying, they're such a cohesive unit. They'll have been together quite a bit over the Christmas period, and those from London Broncos who are here scouting things out and seeing what's going on will realise that they're just looking sharper and sharper. And certainly in the next round, if they're to go on and win this, then that's what's to be expected.
Yeah, the SCL's a summer league, so you know it's not an excuse for the Army because they're not playing, because West absolutely aren't. It's, you know, it's not part of their league time or their season time, so you know they would have gone off their own backs to train and stay connected for this game, and it's paying dividends. You know, they are playing well.
Oh, and try to rip that ball out, which the Army have done. Mikey McDonald looking behind him.
Yeah, I think this is the difference where, you know, we had numbers over for a second there. You know, it's unlucky Walker slipped, and then West had managed to regain that. That's the difference where he's done well, offload over the top.
Who's impressed you most today on that pitch? There's a fair bit of competition there, Mikey.
Yeah, no, you know, I've said it a few times. I think the Army props went well. Hooper must have had an injury because I don't remember coming back onto the pitch. He was going pretty well. I think Johnson, for me, was the outstanding one in the Army. Joey Walker's coming a lot more into it now, and Mikey when they've come on. On the west side, yeah, Bailey Simpson's been very good at fullback. I think for me, Kennison's probably been, you know, he's kind of ran this game today so far. Just quietly going around his business, pulling people into the right place, bossing West around the park. You know, yes, they might know their roles, but ultimately they need that information to come from the halfback of where he wants them. And, you know, I think he's kind of run this game today.
A little chip over from Mikey McDonald, but well judged and well gauged by Rhys Walker as the Army looked to put a bit of pressure on in this final minute or two of the game.
Yeah, I think that for me is very telling. That's the difference where. Go on, boys, get over. Yeah, great to see.
And bundle them back over the line there.
Yeah, I think that was the difference in this corner where we couldn't put him over the line. They managed to at the other end, so it's really great to see that the next phase we've done that. So we'll get a drop out here. Need a quick score. How much time's left on the clock? Not much, but you know, there's chance for Arms start moving it around a little bit.
Chance to change that scoreboard at the very least. A little bit.
Yeah, you know, ultimately, this is our home of the Army. You know, this is the Army rugby pitch. So, you know, the guys have, you know, they've given it everything today. I've got no doubt that the effort, the application wasn't there. It's just one of those days where things don't click. Maybe it's some things you can fix in training or not, but ultimately they'll want to walk away with a score now just to, you know, show that this is the Army pitch. What a run.
The edge ever closer now. McDonald looking for numbers. And so close there, just getting over the try line, does he?
That's a strong finish right there. What was good there, Mikey shaped as if he was going out the back, and then the big man's got the finish. It's a shame we've not seen more of the Army number 3, Tamani. He looks very dangerous in the second half. He's been a little bit subdued in this game. Maybe we haven't got the ball to him, but you know, when he's got involved, he's looked really dangerous.
Nice way to finish strongly for the Army. It's not really been their day at all at the Army Rugby Stadium, their home. Mikey McDonald shapes up to set the conversion up. And strong from West Warriors right throughout this match.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the kick, so goes down to the wire now. West will kick to the Army. You know, how much time's left on the clock? Unsure. The Army Rugby Union clock's, it's just a running clock, so they don't stop it, so we don't know how much stoppage time the ref's got. But ultimately, you know, destiny's in the Army's hands now.
The Army will believe, as you say. They'll use every available second to give themselves a chance. And there have been a few breakaways in the last 5 minutes, piercing through that West Warriors defence. They'll have belief now, the Army. They can perhaps cause another one and fly up that pitch.
Yeah, you see the offloads clicking. You've seen Tamani managed to get it, you know, like basketball style, pass it over to Amici on that far side. Those little passes now have started to click, so the Army have kind of warmed into it, which is good. Which should be interesting to see now. Have they left it too late is ultimately the question.
Now, converted try separates the two sides. What feels like the final moments of this match. Looking to use a bit of muscle to power themselves through. Nice bit of offloading as well.
Yeah, I love they've kept that alive. Let's keep defenders in and around that ruck.
Where can they find the space, the British Army? Where can they turn to for this inspiration?
Good line.
Yeah, lovely angles.
Yeah, just need the Army just to speed up the play the ball. You know, as an attacker, you take the ball into contact. We're standing up a little bit slow to play the ball. You know, your job's not done, so you stand up and play that ball. Houghton with a great break here, needs one on his shoulder.
That's beautiful from Houghton.
They need to come back left here, they've got good numbers.
Looking to go right is McDonald, coming back inside as well. Lovely footwork from the dual code star. screaming for it out in the left-hand wing, though. And referee...
Oh.
Ball back in West Warriors' hands.
Yeah, we got to turn that over there. I'm not sure what happened. Mikey got scragged high. I wasn't sure what the infraction was, but I think it was a knock-on.
They'll be content to keep this in their possession. Run down the clock, West Warriors.
Yeah, there'll be nothing tight here. This will be a simply 1 out, run the clock down, kick it down, try and waste some time off the clock.
Callahan doing his level best for the visitors. And Thorman once more to put Greenhall into a bit of space, but they're recycling that rather well. And Simpson, who's been a star. Johnson Thomas trying to link up, well wrapped as well in defence, and preventing that offload from coming through.
Back to 0, managed to, again, a bit of ill discipline by the Army, absolute killing themselves. That was their last play.
I'll rue that ill discipline and poor completion rate today as well. Some of these opportunities. Is it a case of too little too late for them? And West Warriors, they'll be looking for another score themselves here. That line beckons for them. And the ref.
That is a great defensive effort. Oh, you got 2 players down. You got a West one in backfield and then an Army one near the try line. I think that's Fleming.
Referee checking his watch as well. Fully aware, of course. Don't have many seconds to spare. Fleming just hobbling around there. Hopefully he's okay as he's assisted off.
Yeah, he came on for Mikey early in the first half, and he's played a huge stint. I know he's a fit guy. I'm pretty sure he's an Army PTI, so his job is physical fitness, and I thought he's brought some good energy down that middle. He's a little bit different. He's not a huge-bodied person, but he's a savvy rugby player. Got good footwork, got good hands, and he seems to have brought a bit of shape into that pack when he came on.
Through it comes from Thorman. Matt Beasley.
5 and last.
Put a little grubber through. Have they got there? They got the men to do it. They sure have, West Warriors. Bailey Simpson leaping on top of that huddle. Celebrations all around for the visitors in green. It's been a wonderful afternoon for them in Aldershot, bar perhaps a few moments of Army magic in the final 10 minutes. That's been a very strong, a very clinical and very impressive display from them.
Yeah, I think when they took over the game, when they got the first score, they've not really let go of it since. They've played well. They've been in shape for 80 minutes. Even then, when you could see they were extremely fatigued, they were still in really good attacking shape, filling the pitch, different layers of attack. And I think all congrats to West. They've absolutely deserved the win today. They've been the better team. Flipping over to the Army side, you learn lessons playing against a really good team. They've got some really habitual habits, and the Army will be looking to fix the things that they've gone wrong with them. So we talk about discipline. Cool, that's an easy one to fix. Some of that will be fatigue, that they've just not played a lot, so they're hanging in the tackle a little bit too much. They're a bit late, they're not dropping the height with a lazy arm, etc. So things to work on. Normally they have a couple of fixtures planned in case they don't go through, so the boys can stay together and kind of make this like a mini pre-season before, because generally the Lawson Cup won't start till May, June, so that's when the Army players will start playing in the Cup over here. So it's a little while for the boys to play rugby, so hopefully they take a bit of pride from today. They're putting a good performance.
Just the extras to be added by West Warriors. And added they are at the end of an impressive display from the visitors. British Army 12, West Warriors 24, as the military side goes down in the first round of the Challenge Cup. Neil Thorman, the skipper of the victors, shaking hands with the officials, and now the Army side as well. Mikey Harrison, it's been impressive from them. We've mentioned, of course, that ill completion rate, the ill discipline at times as well from the Army. Tricky as well with the rhythm at this time of the season, but What about some of the positives? What have been some of the things that have impressed you from those red shirts?
Yeah, I think the last 30 minutes of the game, that's probably where they showed, what they are. Some of that is just having limited time together, where they've come together, and it just seems to have clicked at that point where they were moving it and the passes were sticking. There were phases. This was the first 20 minutes. This was an absolute competition between both teams. It was a bit scrappy, but a lot of that was from defensive pressure from both teams. The Army were winning the contact. They were getting them on the back. Vice versa with West. They were going blow for blow. So if they can replicate those sort of patterns over 80 minutes rather than just the first 20, then I think they're in a really good place. They're looking to build on last year's inter-services. They lost one, but they won one. And you can see the one that they did win, Paul's messaging was working and the patterns and plays that he wants were starting to come through. So, yes, it's a loss, but ultimately lost to a really good team. And, you tip your hats to West, and the Army will be looking at, cool, this is the start of the year. September's the ultimate prize when it comes to the inter-services. So, stay together. They've found some really good players there, and then they'll kick on.
Obviously, we had a couple of debutants on the pitch for the Army today. Just give us a sense of the overall depth for them.
Yeah, and it's the beauty of the beauty and the curse of services rugby. You can identify, what would be your strongest 17, but because they're away in operations, they're away in exercise, no one's going to be available generally for all of the season. Even Mikey, being the skipper, is not going to. So.
Well, we're just going to cut you off there, Mikey, for a brief second, because we're heading down to Kath Brazier, who's pitch side.
Well, guys, listen, I know it's a really disappointing, a great surge at the end there, Lee. I expect you wanted to see more of that in the first half and in the rest of the game than you saw in the last 10 minutes there.
Yeah, I don't think the first half could have gone any worse, if I'm being honest with you. But like I said before the game, we're on a journey and there's little different combinations that we've been looking at. So, it makes our life easier now going into the next camp on them combinations.
Mikey, what was it like to be on the pitch? Because it didn't feel like you really got out of the blocks there in the first half at all.
First half, I don't think we turned up at the start. A few changes at second half, and a word from the coaches brought us out second half. And we played our best. We went down to 11 men, 12 men. We just said we've got to change it up and start using our outside edges, and that's what we did. But we're leaving it too late in games. We're turning it on too late, and when we're too far behind. So we need to come out the blocks from the get-go and start in the first half like that. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, discipline's a question when you go 2 down, Lee. I mean, that must be one of the issues you've got to address as well.
Yeah, discipline and errors as well. A lot of the tries of the teams that we're playing against, they're scoring off the back of our errors, not from really great play, and that's something that we are trying to work hard on. But yeah, like I say, that second half there, last 20 minutes, we thought we were in a game, and we were in a game right until the very end. So, fair play to West Warriors. I wish them the best of luck in the next round.
And Mikey, just finally, what do you say to your team when you go into it'd be a job for you and Lee to go in and sort of pick them up, because that's you guys out of the Challenge Cup for another year. Just for your information, Royal Navy are also out. RAF has still got that game to play. But what's next for Army Rugby League, and what do you go in to just go and pick your players up? Because they did play well. The last 10 minutes was brilliant. Yeah,
we showed up in the end, like I said. Going into our next phase now is obviously set aliens at HAC. We should come out the blocks from the get-go, like I said before. The effort was there in the end, but like I said, we turned it on too late. So fair play to West Warriors and wish them luck against London Broncos.
All right, boys, thank you very much and see you next time. Cheers. Bye.
Mikey McDonald's there, a disappointed figure, but he's going to have a busy few months ahead, of course. In the other code, Rugby Union, inter-services won't be far away at all, just a few months to go. It's been an absolute pleasure having you along with us on the BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. Mikey Harrison, co-commentator today. It's been a pleasure, my friend, and we'll hopefully see you soon as well.
No, thanks for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Brilliant, really, from West Warriors today. Fully deserved the win, and we'll see you very, very soon, because we've got a busy few months of Forces Sport coming up. But for now, it's goodbye.
No one is going to stop him. Magnificent performance and magnificent play there.
Full time in this match. Thrilling stuff.